What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel for your weekly 4K Blu-ray review. And today's 4K takes us back to 2006 for the horror prequel, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. For the first time on 4K, again, Arrow Video gives us their swag treatment. Let's check it out. Standard slipcover with all arrows. Inside, lone 4K disc. You get a nice poster. Don't rip it. There's Thomas Hewitt. And, just like the last film, we get a little pamphlet. Talks about the cast and crew. Look at that. R. Lee Ermey. There's a short story about how this film came to be after the success that 2003's was. And then how they restored this movie for 4K. So, this is a standard pamphlet you get with Arrow. Good stuff as always. Since the 2003 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was such a massive hit, it was only fitting that they were going to make another one. But instead, with this one, they decided to focus on the Hewitt family and how Thomas Hewitt came to be. The Hewitts are by far the best thing going on in this movie, as well as watching Thomas Hewitt transition into Leatherface. The rest of the cast was merely only here in a supporting role. And outside of Jordana Brewster, I didn't even know any of them. But it didn't matter. You don't care for any of them. None of them had a chance in this film, and you knew it. I mentioned in the 2003 film review that was a brutal watch at times. But this one, it's just as brutal. It's very unforgiving. Extremely brutal. Especially the unrated cut. It's a massive gore fest. And it's over the top and out of control. This release contains both versions of the film. The theatrical cut and the 5-minute longer unrated cut. And I watched both back to back. The unrated cut is the one you want to watch here. It gives a little more story on the biker gang. That makes the subplot, it gives a little more context. Plus, there's a lot more gore in the unrated cut, if you're into that sort of thing. Let's get into it. In 1939, the serial killer known as Leatherface was born in a meatpacking plant. He was left for dead in the trash and rescued by the Hewitts, where he was raised as a monster. The rest of the Hewitts transitioned into cannibals, as they were trying to hold on to their dying town. Unfortunately, again, a few passerbys run into Sheriff Hoyt, who captures them and subjects them to their sadistic ways. Chrissy was able to remain hidden, but does she have enough willpower to help rescue her friends and avoid Thomas Hewitt, aka Leatherface? For the first time on 4K, Arrow went back to the original camera negative for this 1:8:5:1 image in Dolby Vision HDR. Interesting enough that the previous film was shot in a 2:3:9:1 aspect ratio. One thing I noticed right away is that this film maintains the look and feel of the 2003 film, with its down and dark and dreary image. I will also say that the film has more of a vintage look, like it came out of the 1960s, like it was portraying. Picture image was mostly consistent with good use of black levels and contrast ratios. Colors during the day were bright and somewhat subdued, probably because nothing was bright and happy here about this film. Facial tones looked good across the bulk of the cast. I will give it an 8.5 out of 10, which is slightly below what I gave the 2003 film. Audio was presented in DTS 5.1 and 7.1 HD, but in order to access the 7.1 track, you need to watch the unrated cut. With that being said, the 7.1 track was superb and superior to the 5.1 track. It was more immersive across the board with excellent surround and ambient effects. Bass was also fantastic, much like the last film. The score was also just as creepy as the 2003 film, making this an edge-of-your-seat watch. Vocals, fine and dandy as well. 9.5 out of 10 for the audio. In terms of special features, you had 2 commentary tracks, with one being new, 3 new interviews, such as one with actor Lou Garber and 2 with some of the crew members. You also had a documentary on making of the film, some deleted and extended scenes, and a trailer. 8 out of 10 for the features. I only bought this film because I also bought the 2003 film. Arrow did their job as usual here, but I would say that only fans of the film would want to purchase this. I'd rate the film a 6.5 out of 10, and overall this release from Arrow gets a 9 out of 10. Well, that's today's review. Come back next week, see what else we've watched.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share, bruh.